Hey, what's going on, everybody? The Dirty Rat here. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you 9 tips in gray zone warfare to make you more average at the game. These are 9 tips that I feel like are beneficial to players that are new and even some of
Get
the
ready.
returning
1
players
minute.
to help you out a little bit here in gray zone. Now, bonus here on this is that I'm going to be live as soon as this video goes live here on YouTube. I'll be over at twitch.tv/the Dirty Rat. So, if you know someone that's looking for a copy of Gray Zone Warfare, or maybe you just need like a little extra Christmas gift to give to somebody, hey, a copy of Gray Zone Warfare would be good. I'm going to be giving away 5 copies again, so it's only 5 copies I have. I'll be
30
giving
seconds.
one away pretty much every hour to hour and a half while I'm live playing Gray Zone on Sunday, December the 22nd, 2024. So once this video goes live, that's when I'll be clicking go live over at Twitch. But until then, we're going to be jumping straight into this video so you can get more average at Gray Zone Warfare. And just a quick shout out to the folks over at Madfinger Games, especially Rick, the head PR guy with Madfinger, for giving me the 5 keys that I'll be giving away over on Twitch today. All right, the first tip I'm going to be sharing with you all is when it comes to walking down steep inclines or mountains in gray zone warfare. In this clip here, I'm currently in the mountains over by Bay and Paul. So in this clip, you'll be seeing me going up and down this mountain several times, just showing you different angles of, making your way down that mountain. So couple of tips here on this would be when you're traversing through the mountains, always look for a pathway to get yourself down safely. A lot of times you can see, cutouts in the mountains that look like a path. Try to take those as much as you can. This will help you get down mountains safely. The other thing to look for is going to be, or not to look for, but the other thing to be doing, is going to be going at an angle. So when you're traversing some of these mountains, if you're having issues finding a pathway, take it slowly but at an angle. You'll eventually learn how high up is too high up to go at an angle or go straight on. You don't want to be the guy that's at night walking through the jungle and then you fall off the edge of the cliff and then you have no idea where you were and you got to come back and then try to figure out where your body is and have a buddy with a flashlight help you find your body. So again, when you're traversing these cliffs, look for pathways, both up and down. Finding pathways to get up and down through the mountain will actually help. And then when you're going down the mountains as well, just make sure you're taking it at an angle if you can't find a pathway, and taking it one step at a time. Just don't W key it because you'll launch yourself off the side of the mountain. Again, take your time. Just press your W keys, your strafe keys, make your way up and down. When you're heading down, finding that perfect path to get down without taking fall damage or taking as minimum damage as possible. All right, the next tips I'm going to be sharing with you is going to be having to do with fighting AI. As we all know, AI has been a controversial topic with gray zone warfare, but there are certain ways you can fight them to make your chances of success a lot better. Now, with the latest patch they have done, AI has been became a little bit easier to handle. So a couple of things have changed with that, but for the most part with AI, you don't want to stop and move or keep re-peeking from the same angle. If you're fighting close quarters, hold the angle while you're peeking around the corner to try to always be the one that shoots first. If you're fighting at a distance, the best advice I can give you is to shoot and move. So you're going to see AI, you're going to take the shot. Always, aim for the head if you can, and then once you fire, move. So the way it worked before the last patch is once you did that, the AI would look at your last known location, whether you were shooting or throwing a hand grenade, and then they would just shoot at that area until they were able to see you again once you broke visual contact. So they have changed that now to where a majority of the time the AI will now look towards the next access point to where they are. That's the best way I can explain it. So if you're fighting, at a gate like at Fort Nerith and you shoot AI through that gate, or, if you're on a hill and you're over the wall and you fire at AI, they're going to try to focus on that gate or where you were. So they're going to look for the ease of access to where you are. So again, the biggest tip with fighting AI is just shoot and move. You never want to keep sitting in the same spot firing at the same AI, especially if there's multiple AI, because they will beam you. So that's the biggest tip I can give you with AI. Again, constantly move, shoot and move, flank. I always typically fight like you see here in this clip. I always do a semicircle. I take a shot, and then I move, in a semicircle fashion, or clockwise or counterclockwise, however you want to do it. And I do that and just keep looking for the AI that's left until I can take them all out in that area. All right, tip number 3 has to do with the map, LZs, and helicopters. So, as some of you who may have noticed with this update, you're not waiting forever to get picked up by the bird. Now, with that being said, if you're wondering if there are any birds available, there is now a widget. If you look here on my screen, you'll see in the top left corner of the map, there is a widget that shows all 4 birds for your faction. It tells you where they're going, how long it's going to be till they get there, and how long it'll be until they're available. So you can kind of plan accordingly when it comes to that to being getting picked up. So this is a nice addition, of course. This is a tip that I would recommend, using to your advantage. It does help you plan your routes a little bit better when you're out in the jungle. Tip number 4 has to do with money. Now, this will apply not only when you're out in the jungle and you're looting your AI, it'll also apply a little bit while you're in your stash. So, the biggest tip I can share to you is if you want to quick loot money off of a body, you can right click any money that is on your person and hit top up. By doing that, it will automatically pull any money off of the AI that you are looting. Now, the other thing too is with one of the hot fixes since Night Ops has dropped, money now stacks. So if you don't do the top up option and you're looting through the pockets, you can just right click the money and it will go into your person. And by doing so, at that point, it will automatically stack. The other tip with the money is in your stash. If you open up your wallet, if you have loose money sitting around your stash, just right click a stack of money that is not at the full amount of the stack and hit top up, and it will pull all the money in your stash up into the wallet and take care of it from there. Now, tip number 5 has to do with status effects in gray zone warfare. I would highly recommend learning what the status effects are, what they mean, and how to take care of them. You don't want to be caught in a situation like my friend and I were the other day, where we accidentally stepped in the radiation, and we did not know what to do as far as getting rid of it, so we just tried to make it back to the base, and we obviously did not successfully do that. So again, you don't want to be caught out in the open, not knowing what to do or how to fix yourself, because some of these status effects could really affect your gameplay as far as making you see double, making it harder to aim, hold your weapon, etc. So I will be dropping a link below in the description to a website that actually describes these status effects and tells you what causes them. So things like, knowing to bandage or when to use a turn and get over a bandage, when to use your serve kit, knowing that, serve kit is going to be needed more often than you think to fix some things like that. So again, learning your status effects is something very, very useful, and utilizing the key U as in uniform, being able to pull up the health screen very quickly and seeing what you have going on with your PMC to get that addressed. Now, tip number 6 is going to have to do with crossing water. So, crossing rivers and stuff that you encounter while you're out in gray zone warfare, there are some easier ways of getting across the water. Yes, of course, you can always do the sprint and jump and hope you make it across. And then, if you don't, cover the small distance afterwards, as you see here. But one of the biggest tips I can give you is pay attention to the way the water flows in this game. Moving with the flow of the water will allow you to get across to the other side a lot quicker than you think, because the flow of the water is actually pushing you along. So you can cross it at an angle, and be able to get yourself through the water. Now, just keep in mind, if you're crossing at an angle but going against the flow, you will move a little bit slower. So in this clip here, I do show you a little bit of going against the water, and then I show you going with the flow of the water as well, and you'll be able to tell a difference in how much faster I move across. So right here, I'm getting ready to go ahead and go across as I'm pointing at the flow of the water. So when I go with the angle, I start moving, and you see how much faster I'm moving along. So this is not a bug. I don't believe it's a bug. I actually believe it's intended. So just keep that in mind. Moving across the water, go with the flow. All right, tip number 7, I think it's number 7, has to do with weapon durability and fixing said weapon. So, with the introduction of durability, of course, your gear and your weapons degrade 10% with every death, and of course, without dying, they just degrade over time as you use them. So, here in this scenario, I'm showing you I have a DDM4 that's pretty much 100%, or not 100%, but it's pretty much zeroed out. It's so low on durability that when I equip it, it will not let me fire the weapon. So what I'm showing you here is the biggest tip is when it comes to replacing parts in these weapons is by opening up the weapon. As you see here, you can see stuff in my stash that's being highlighted that works for said weapon. This also works by closing out that window and just left clicking or left clicking on the gun to highlight it. It'll do the same thing. Now, the big thing here with this tip is using it when you're in your vendor screen. So by clicking on the weapon like I'm doing here on Gunny, I can see all the parts that Gunny has for sale that actually works with this weapon, and I can start buying those pieces and replacing them with the weapon to get it operational again. So that's a great tip to know to help you be able to get your gunsmithing, if you will, done as efficiently as possible. The only downside to it is whenever you swap vendors, you have to, left click that weapon to get it to highlight for the new vendor. Again, so that's a tip to help you have a little bit of ease when it comes to replacing parts in your weapons in gray zone warfare. All right, and the last tip I am going to give you is going to have to do with your hotkeys. So in Gray Zone Warfare, you have some hotkeys you can use for your tactical device, for making the bird leave faster, for quieting your headset, for eating, provisions, and for your healing items. So for your healing items, you're just going to push and hold down H on your keyboard, and that will pull up the items that you have in your pockets or in your rig that you can use to heal yourself with. So you'll see here like my belt items, my pocket items, or my rig items. All of those will show up. Pressing H, I'll go ahead and use one of those items that you have highlighted. So you can scroll your mouse wheel, select the item you want to use, then press H. You can also cancel your animations as well. So that's what you saw me there doing. If I'm pressing H to use a bandage, and if I hear AI or another player approaching, I have mine bound to push and hold right click. I believe default is just right click. Now, as far as your headset goes, pressing O on the keyboard allows you to turn on and turn off your headset so you can quiet down the helicopter noise. Just make sure that whenever you land and you go to move into an area, you always press O so that way you get your sounds and stuff back. As far as provisions go, I don't really have anything on me, but here just to show you what I'm talking about, we'll grab a can of beans and a bottle of water. We'll put those into my bag. So they're still not there. Again, like I said, it has to be in your rig. So if I just move this around, now if I hold down P or press P, I start eating my food. And then once the food's gone, it'll be the water that's next. So again, just to show you that. So that's a quick way to use your food items while you're traveling in the helicopter. Then the other thing is going to be your tactical device. So your laser or your flashlights. Holding down T as in Tango on your keyboard will allow you to select what tactical device you want to use. You would highlight it. So as you see here, it has my NC Star light highlighted. If I was to press T on that, now that is no longer functional. So if I'm hitting T, it pops up and tells me that no tactical mode is selected. So I would have to go back in, hit T, which turns on the device. And now by pressing T, I can just turn on and off the flashlight. So you can set that up to where if you had a couple of lasers or a flashlight and a laser, you can have them both turning on and off at the same time. The next thing is going to be your grenades. That's going to be pressing G or holding G as in golf. That'll allow you to select whether you want to throw a normal grenade or a stun grenade or even a smoke grenade. And then the final thing is going to be pressing L on your keyboard. That allows you to select what emote you want to use. So whenever you have that selected, so there I just chose sit. So now if I'm moving around and if I just press L, I will automatically sit down. So that tip there, that'll cover just using the hotkeys for you. And then the last thing with the hotkeys is whenever you call a bird in, if you're the person that called the bird in, as soon as you get on the bird, you can press L on your keyboard and it will have the bird leave faster as well. So I hope these 9 tips in Gray Zone Warfare are going to help you be better at the game. or be more average like me. I consider myself an average player, so hopefully these tips were useful to you. If they were, please share your favorite tip down below in the comments, or maybe even share a tip that I didn't include in here that you think would be helpful for other players that see this video. So again, if you don't mind, please like the video, as any support like that is greatly appreciated, or subscribe to the channel here on YouTube. You can also follow us over at twitch.tv/thedirtyrat. Again, thank you very much for watching.